Elena stared at the alien ambassador's holographic form projected in United Earth Command's Situation Room. The Exorelian's translucent skin pulsed with bioluminescent patterns that the translation software interpreted as extreme distress. Our scientists confirmed it 3 cycles ago. Ambassador Zix continued, 4-fingered hands moving in elegant patterns that complemented their speech. The stellar core has become unstable. We estimate 18 of your Earth months before catastrophic failure. General Vasquez leaned forward. With respect, Ambassador, your civilization achieved interstellar travel centuries ago according to your own records. Surely you have colony worlds. The ambassador's skin darkened momentarily. We explored, yes. We established research outposts and mining operations. But our civilization, our culture, it remained centered on our homeworld. We never needed to disperse our population. Their voice dropped. It was our greatest mistake. Elena watched the assembled Earth officials exchange glances. Humanity had nearly made the same mistake before the resource wars forced a radical restructuring of society. Only the Mars and Europa settlements had given humans a foothold beyond Earth during the darkest years. 9 billion lives. President Santos repeated quietly. Even if we devoted every ship in our fleet, we could transport perhaps 10 million in the time remaining. The ambassador's translator conveyed a sound like a soft chime. What the humans would later learn was an expression of deep sorrow. We have begun constructing evacuation vessels, but material shortages and time constraints make it impossible to save more than 12% of our population. Our leadership caste has already decided to sacrifice themselves. But the ambassador's light patterns intensified. Even with such sacrifice, billions will perish. As the meeting adjourned without concrete promises, Elena found herself walking beside Dr. Mehta in the corridor outside. You believe them? She asked the xenobiologist. Mehta nodded. The spectral data they provided matches exactly what we'd expect from a star entering nova phase. Their biological signatures show physical stress markers consistent with a civilization facing extinction. They're not deceiving us. Elena paused at a viewport overlooking the nighttime lights of New Singapore. Then what can we do? The public is already divided. Half want to help at any cost. Half fear we'll destroy ourselves trying. Perhaps both sides missed the point, Mehta said thoughtfully. Throughout human history, the most successful refugee integrations weren't based on simple relocation, but on shared knowledge and mutual adaptation. That night, Elena couldn't sleep. She pulled up the complete Sorelian transmission on her personal console, reviewing details the briefing had skipped. Their technological specifications were impressive. More advanced than Earth's in energy manipulation and biological integration, yet surprisingly underdeveloped in certain forms of mechanical engineering and resource recycling. An idea began forming in her mind. Humanity had faced extinction-level threats 3 times in the past century. Each time, they'd developed contingency plans that were never fully implemented when conditions improved. Those plans still existed in the archives. At 3 a.m., Elena sent an urgent message to Amara Okafor, whose innovative refugee settlement designs had saved millions during the Indonesian archipelago evacuations. The message contained only one question. What if we taught them to save themselves? By morning, protests had erupted outside every United Earth embassy worldwide. Some carried signs demanding Earth open its doors to the aliens. Others warned of invasion and resource collapse. Neither group yet realized that humanity was about to offer something far more valuable than sanctuary. The council chamber fell silent as Amara's holographic models rotated above them, revealing detailed schematics of self-contained habitats designed to support large populations indefinitely. These are adaptations of the Genesis arcs, Amara explained, enhancing specific sections with a gesture. Originally created during the climate crisis when we feared losing most of Earth's habitable land. We never deployed them at full scale, but the engineering principles are sound. General Rivera studied the designs skeptically. The Exorelians would need to build hundreds of these to save their population. Even with our help, the materials requirements alone would be significantly reduced using their crystalline fabrication technology, Amara countered, pulling up Sorelian manufacturing specifications. Their matter restructuring processes are far more efficient than ours. What they lack isn't technical capability, but specific knowledge of sustainable closed systems. Dr. Mehta nodded thoughtfully. During the resource wars, we learned to create closed-loop ecosystems out of necessity. The Sorelians never faced that pressure. Their world remained abundant until now. President Santos walked slowly around the holographic display. You're suggesting we provide them with designs and expertise, rather than physical asylum. More than that, Amara said, bringing up another schematic. I'm suggesting we create a knowledge exchange. Their energy systems could revolutionize our power grid. Our resource management could save their population. Representative Chen from the Asian Coalition frowned. And if they use this knowledge against us later, we would be giving potential competitors our hard-won survival techniques. Alina stepped forward from her observation position. The Sorelians have had interstellar capability for centuries, yet they never expanded beyond research outposts. Their culture values harmony over conquest. If they'd wanted our world, they could have taken it long before we knew they existed. The debate continued for hours, with security experts demanding guarantees while humanitarian voices pushed for immediate action. Public opinion polls fluctuated wildly as media coverage intensified. Outside the council building, demonstrations grew larger, both for and against intervention. As evening approached, Amara received an urgent message from her team. Hurrying to a private communication room, she found herself facing a three-dimensional projection of Ambassador Zix. My scientists have reviewed the preliminary materials you shared, the ambassador said, their skin patterns shifting to colors humans would later learn indicated hope. Your recycling systems, they're unlike anything we've considered, so simple in design, yet so effective. Amara smiled. Sometimes the most elegant solutions come from having fewer resources, not more. Our computational models suggest that if we adapted these designs to our technology, the ambassador continued, we could increase our evacuation capacity by 40%. Is this assessment accurate? I believe you could do even better, Amara replied. Your fabrication methods could improve our efficiency metrics significantly. When Amara returned to the council session, she carried with her the ambassador's preliminary acceptance of technical collaboration. The mood in the chamber had shifted subtly. Let me be clear, President Santos said as the session reconvened. We're not discussing whether to help anymore. We're discussing how to help most effectively. Minister Okafor of the African Union, Amara's father, rose from his seat. Throughout human history, true empowerment has never come from handouts. It has come from sharing knowledge and skills. He gestured to the still-rotating arc designs. Perhaps our greatest gift to the Sorelians isn't sanctuary on our crowded world, but the wisdom to build their own future, wherever they choose to make it. In her seat, Alina felt a spark of hope. Humanity was about to attempt something unprecedented, not a rescue mission, but a partnership between species facing the universe together. The High Minister's mandibles clicked rapidly as he processed the implications of Earth's offer. Around the circular chamber, other Sorelian leaders displayed varying light patterns across their translucent skin, emotions that human observers were only beginning to interpret. They offer knowledge instead of sanctuary, Science Director Teki said, appendages moving delicately across the projected human designs. These arc configurations, they're unlike anything in our archives. Resource Minister Valen's skin darkened to a deep indigo. This proposal assumes we can build such vessels quickly enough. Our fabrication facilities are already at maximum capacity producing conventional evacuation ships. Look closer, Seki urged, expanding a section of the human schematics. Their designs incorporate our crystalline replication technology in ways we never considered. They've adapted their resource management systems to our manufacturing capabilities. The chamber grew quiet as the council members studied the plans more carefully. The humans had somehow analyzed Sorelian technology and found efficiencies the aliens themselves had missed. Most surprising was a modification to the Sorelians' matter conversion process that would reduce energy consumption by 37%. How did they determine this optimization? Asked Defense Coordinator Nrath. Our engineers have worked on conversion efficiency for generations. Different perspective, said a voice from the chamber entrance. All appendages swiveled toward young Krell, a junior researcher who had no right to address the council directly. The breach of protocol sent ripples of light patterns across the chamber. Explain yourself before you are removed, the High Minister said, his formal translator tones barely concealing his annoyance. Krell's skin pulsed with the blue-green pattern of earnest commitment. Humans evolved on a resource-limited world. Their entire history is a study in efficiency born of scarcity. We evolved with abundance and focused on expansion rather than conservation. Instead of calling for Krell's immediate removal, Science Director Tiki made an unexpected gesture of concession. The youngling makes a valid observation. Our technological development prioritized what could be done, not what should be done to maximize resources. The council chamber's mood shifted as the members continued examining Earth's proposals. The plans included not just technical specifications but training programs, psychological support protocols, and cultural preservation frameworks developed during humanity's own brushes with extinction. They're not just giving us blueprints, Siki noted with increasing excitement. They're offering to teach us how they survived their own disasters. This is unprecedented. High Minister Xolan's skin finally settled into a pattern the others recognized as decision. The humans have shown wisdom we did not expect. They recognize that our people don't need charity. We need partnership. He turned to the communication array. Prepare a response to Earth. Accept their offer with gratitude, but also propose exchange rather than one-way assistance. Our quantum computation methods could significantly advance their data processing capabilities. As the council adjourned, Defense Coordinator Nrath lingered in the chamber with the High Minister. Not all will accept this approach, he warned quietly. The traditionalist enclave believes accepting outside help diminishes us. Then they fail to understand our history, Xolan replied. Our greatest achievements came when we incorporated new knowledge, not when we rejected it. Outside the council chamber, young Krell found himself approached by Science Director Tiki. Your observation was correct, if improperly presented, the elder said. I require your assistance in preparing for the human delegation's arrival. Across the Sorelian homeworld, as news of Earth's response spread, a mixture of relief, confusion, and hope rippled through the population. They had expected either rejection or rescue. What they received instead would transform their civilization in ways no one yet fully understood. Amara watched with fascination as the young Sorelian engineer, Tela, manipulated the holographic model of the water recycling system. The maintenance cased workers' appendages moved with surprising precision, reconfiguring components in ways Amara hadn't considered. The crystalline matrices can be aligned in fractal patterns, Tela explained through her translator, which struggled with technical terms in her lowercase dialect. It increases filtration surface area by 42% while reducing material requirements. The senior Sorelian engineers in the room displayed light patterns that Amara was learning to recognize as discomfort. One of them, Design Overseer Malx, moved forward. Such modifications are untested, he said dismissively. We should adhere to the human designs as provided. Admiral Takahashi, who had been quietly observing the exchange, stepped forward. Actually, we would be very interested in testing Tela's modifications. Innovation often comes from unexpected sources. His deliberate use of the maintenance worker's name, breaking Sorelian protocol regarding lower castes, created a momentary tension in the room. The human delegation had been briefed on Sorelian social hierarchy, but had consistently ignored its stricter aspects. Malx's skin flickered with patterns that the human's translation software didn't capture, but his body language conveyed clear disapproval. Nevertheless, protocol demanded respecting the human visitors. As you wish, he said stiffly. We will allocate a test chamber for this experiment. Later that evening, in the human delegation's assigned quarters, Alina and Takahashi reviewed the day's progress. We're creating friction in their social structure, Alina noted, reviewing cultural integration reports. Their caste system is deeply embedded in their decision-making processes. Takahashi nodded. It's unavoidable. Our approach to problem-solving inherently challenges their hierarchy. But remember, we're not here to remake their society. We're here to help them survive. The two might be inseparable, Dr. Sanjay Mehta interjected, looking up from biological data he was analyzing. Their rigid social stratification is precisely what prevented them from developing the adaptive systems they now need. Innovation requires input from diverse perspectives. The Admiral studied the progress reports from various construction sites. We're ahead of schedule on the physical structures, but behind on crew training. Their psychological preparation protocols are concerning. They compartmentalize information based on caste, Amara explained. Lower castes are only taught their specific tasks without understanding the overall systems. It creates significant vulnerabilities if something goes wrong. Like building a ship where only the captain knows how to navigate, only engineers know how engines work, and only sailors know how to adjust the sails, Elena offered. Exactly, Amara confirmed. We faced similar issues during the African continental evacuation. Specialists who couldn't communicate across disciplines. The next morning, the human delegation split into specialized teams across multiple construction sites. At Alina's suggestion, each team deliberately included Sorelians from different castes, creating mixed working groups that bridged traditional divisions. At midday, news spread quickly through the construction zones. Tela's modified filtration system had completed its first test cycle with efficiency ratings far exceeding the original designs. The maintenance worker had been publicly acknowledged by Science Director Tseki himself, an unprecedented recognition that sent shockwaves through Sorelian society. By evening, human cultural specialists reported increasing numbers of lower caste Sorelians approaching them with ideas and suggestions. Many spoke in hushed tones, glancing nervously at their overseers, but the dam of silence had begun to crack. When Admiral Takahashi received the day's reports, he smiled slightly. It seems we're not just building arcs, he told Alina. We're building bridges. Elsewhere on the Sorelian homeworld, Defense Coordinator Nrath watched these developments with growing concern. The humans weren't just changing their technology. They were changing Sorelian society itself, and far too quickly for traditionalists to accept. The central plaza of the Sorelian capital had never seen anything like the gathering taking place. Traditionally, such spaces were segregated by caste, with elevated platforms reserved for the leadership class and lower levels for workers. Today, those boundaries had dissolved. Krell stood at the center of the crowd, his skin glowing with patterns that reflected both nervousness and determination. Beside him stood Tela, whose filtration system modifications had now been implemented in all ARC designs. The human approach contradicts everything we've been taught. Krell addressed the assembled Sorelians, his voice translated through public announcement systems. They don't hide their failures. They study them. They don't restrict knowledge. They share it broadly. And their results speak for themselves. The crowd's light patterns rippled in complex waves, some showing agreement, others displaying caution or confusion. Centuries of social stratification didn't disappear overnight. Look at the construction progress, Tela added, her maintenance caste dialect now given equal prominence through the translators. 6 weeks ago, we were building 17 arcs. Today, we're building 43. With improved life support and more efficient resource usage. This happened because ideas were evaluated on merit, not on the caste of those who proposed them. From her observation point at the edge of the plaza, Alina watched with a mixture of pride and concern. The cultural integration specialists had predicted social change, but not at this pace or scale. Do you think we've gone too far? Amara asked, standing beside her. We came to help them build arcs. not revolutionize their society. Elena shook her head. We offered knowledge transfer, not just technical specifications. If their social structure prevents effective implementation of survival strategies, then that structure needed to evolve. Across the city, Elder Minister Vrax watched the same gathering through surveillance feeds, his skin darkening with patterns of displeasure. This disruption threatens everything we've built over millennia, he told the assembled Traditionalist Council. The humans are dismantling our social order when we are most vulnerable. High Commander Drav's appendages moved in the formal pattern of strategic proposal. Perhaps we should reconsider our options. Earth's environment is compatible with our biology. Their population is spread thin after their own crisis, with our superior technology. You speak of invasion. Another elder asked, skin flickering with alarm patterns. I speak of survival, Drav replied. If their cultural contamination continues, even if we save our population, we will no longer be Xorelians. Back in the plaza, Science Director Cheki approached the human delegation. His skin displayed patterns Elena had never seen before. Your translator seems to be struggling, she noted. New emotional patterns. Yes, Seki confirmed. We have no historical reference for this collective feeling. It resembles enlightenment but contains elements of what you might call revolutionary fervor. It's unsettling but invigorating. The science director gestured toward the mixed groups of Xorelians now departing the plaza, many heading directly to construction sites and research facilities. For 10,000 cycles, we believed perfect stability was the ideal social state. Now we're discovering that controlled adaptation might be more valuable. That evening, as the first fully completed arc began systems testing in orbit, humanity reached a milestone of its own. Quantum computation principles shared by Xorelian scientists had allowed Earth's researchers to solve energy storage problems that had plagued their grid for decades. The knowledge exchange was proving to be genuinely bidirectional, strengthening both civilizations precisely when they needed it most. Neither species yet realized that this partnership would soon face its greatest test, from within. Admiral Takahashi studied the sensor data with growing concern. The energy signatures detected at the edge of the Xorelian system matched no known configuration in their shared database. How many vessels? He asked the sensor specialist. At least 27, sir, Lieutenant Rodriguez replied. Their drive signatures incorporate elements of our fusion technology, but with modifications we've never seen. They're masking their movements using debris from the system's outer planets. Elena entered the command center, her expression grave. We've identified the faction behind them, a group called the Preservation Enclave, led by High Commander Drav and Elder Minister Vrax. They'd been recruiting from the traditionalist castes for weeks. Takahashi's gaze returned to the tactical display. Their course suggests they're preparing to leave the system entirely. Destination. Based on current vectors and acceleration patterns, Rodriguez said, Earth is the only logical target. The Admiral immediately called an emergency meeting with the Xorelian High Council. Science Director Teki and the newly appointed Social Adaptation Minister Krell arrived first, their skin patterns displaying alarm frequencies. We had no knowledge of this treachery, Seki assured them, appendages moving in patterns of formal apology. The separatists have been operating in violation of council authority. High Minister Xolan entered the chamber, his movements deliberate and formal. I have ordered our defense fleet to intercept the rogue vessels, but I fear they have too much of a head start. Their ships have been enhanced with technologies from both our civilizations. What exactly are they planning? Elena asked. Krell's translator conveyed his grim response. Based on communications we intercepted, they intend to use modified terraforming technology to make Earth more suitable for Xorelian biology. The process would be devastating for most Earth life. A heavy silence fell over the room. We must recall all human personnel immediately, the High Minister declared. Your ships must return to Earth to prepare defenses. We will continue the evacuation efforts as best we can without your assistance. Admiral Takahashi exchanged glances with Alina. That would leave the evacuation severely compromised. Billions would die here. We cannot allow you to sacrifice your world for ours, Seki said firmly. The betrayal is Xorelian. The responsibility to address it must also be Xorelian. Alina studied the tactical display, an idea forming. The Separatists' ships use human fusion drive technology combined with Xorelian navigation systems. That integration creates a unique vulnerability. She turned to Takahashi. Remember the Jakarta incident, when we had to remotely disable those rogue cargo haulers? Recognition dawned in the Admiral's eyes. A synchronized pulse sequence that triggers an emergency shutdown. But we'd need to get close enough to transmit the code directly. Their shields would block any long-range attempt. Our stealth shuttles could get close enough, Krell suggested, his skin brightening with possibility patterns. They utilize crystalline diffraction fields that can bypass standard detection systems. Seki considered this, but human pilots wouldn't know how to navigate the stellar debris field they're using for cover. The radiation would also be lethal to your species. Then we send mixed teams, Alina proposed. Human technical specialists who know the shutdown procedures, and Xorelian pilots who can navigate the hazards. The room fell silent as everyone processed the implications. Such a mission would require unprecedented trust between the species, humans relying on Xorelian pilots, while Xorelians depended on human technical expertise. High Minister Xolan's skin displayed the formal pattern of significant decision. To save both our worlds, we must trust each other completely. There is no alternative. As the Joint Strike teams began assembling, Defense Coordinator Nrath approached Admiral Takahashi privately. You should know, he said quietly. Commander Drab believes he's preserving our species in its pure form. He considers this a rescue mission, not an invasion. The road to destruction is often paved with noble intentions, Takahashi replied. Let's make sure both our species have a future to debate philosophy in. The Joint Strike Team's shuttle bay hummed with activity as final preparations were made. Captain Maya Wong checked her equipment one last time, ensuring the shutdown code transmitter was properly calibrated. Around her, 7 other shuttles underwent similar preparations, each carrying a human Xorelian crew with complementary skills. Nervous? Selvig asked, moving to her side with the fluid grace characteristic of their species. The Xorelian pilot's skin displayed subtle patterns that Maya had learned indicated focused determination. Terrified, she admitted with a smile, but also strangely confident. Your navigation skills through radiation fields are unmatched. Selvig's translator conveyed what might have been a chuckle, and your technical adaptability surpasses our specialists. Together, we make a formidable team. Admiral Takahashi entered the shuttle bay with Alina and Krell. The Admiral's expression was solemn as he addressed the assembled crews. You're about to undertake the most significant joint operation in our species' histories, he said. The Separatists believe our differences make us incompatible. Your mission will prove otherwise. Krell stepped forward, skin glowing with formal ceremonial patterns. In our history, we have a concept called Zulik, the moment when two opposing forces recognize they are stronger together than apart. This mission embodies Zulik. The crews boarded their shuttles, humans and Xorelians moving in coordinated precision that would have been unimaginable months earlier. As the bay doors opened, revealing the star-filled void beyond, Maya felt a moment of pure clarity. Systems check complete, she reported as Selvig guided the shuttle into space. Cloaking field stable. The 8 shuttles moved in formation toward the debris field where the Separatist fleet waited. Guided by Xorelian pilots, they navigated through radiation zones and asteroid clusters that would have been impassable to human crews alone. Approaching transmission range, Maya announced as they closed on the first Separatist vessel. Defense systems active on target ships. We'll need to get closer. Selvig guided their shuttle through a particularly dense cluster of planetary fragments. Radiation levels increasing. 10 minutes until human safety thresholds are exceeded. Then we do this in 9, Maya replied, fingers moving across the transmission controls. Without warning, one of the separatist vessels fired a sweeping energy pulse. 3 shuttles in their formation took glancing hits, their cloaking fields fluctuating. They've detected us, Maya said, checking damage reports from the other shuttles. We've lost primary systems on shuttles 2, 5, and 7. On the fleet-wide channel, Admiral Takahashi's voice crackled. All teams, execute emergency protocol. Get within transmission range however possible. As Maya's shuttle took a direct hit, emergency systems failed in cascading sequence. The cabin filled with the acrid smell of burning circuitry. Beside her, Selvig made an unexpected decision. The Xorelian removed their environmental protection gear and physically connected to the shuttle systems, their bioluminescent skin dimming as they channel their own biological energy to maintain critical functions. "What are you doing?" Maya gasped, seeing Selvig's life signs weakening on the monitor. "Ensuring mission success," came the strained reply. "Our biology can temporarily integrate with compatible systems. Get to the transmission console." Maya understood the cost of what Selvig was doing, using their own life force to keep the shuttle functioning. With renewed determination, she launched the shuttle toward the Separatist command vessel. "Transmission range achieved," she announced, activating the shutdown sequence, initiating code burst. Throughout the debris field, similar scenes played out as the remaining human Xorelian teams reached their targets. One by one, the Separatist ships lost power, their weapons and propulsion systems going dark. In Maya's shuttle, she turned to see Selvig's form slumped over the navigation console, their skin barely glowing. Rushing to their side, she connected the emergency medical kit, not knowing if human medical protocols would help but unwilling to do nothing. "Stay with me," she whispered. "We did it. Both our worlds are safe." Selvig's skin flickered weakly. Zulik, the translator, managed before falling silent. 20 years after the initial distress call, Belina Reyes stood at the observation deck of the flagship Ark Unity, watching the massive evacuation fleet prepare for its final departure. Behind her, the Xorelian sun glowed ominously, its outer layers already beginning to expand in the early stages of nova. "Hard to believe we actually did it," Amara said, joining her at the viewport. Now serving as integration director for the Diaspora Fleet, she had overseen the cultural preparation programs that had transformed both species. 57 arcs, Elena marveled. 8 billion Xorelians and 5 million human volunteers. No one thought it was possible when we started. Krell approached, his skin displaying the complex patterns of his new role as Diaspora Minister. The young researcher who had once broken protocol to speak in council chambers now led the largest migration in known history. "The final transport ships are docking now," he informed them. "All essential personnel are aboard. We launch in 2 hours. Elena nodded, her thoughts drifting to the journey ahead. The fleet wouldn't scatter randomly into space as originally planned. Instead, they would maintain formation as a unified civilization, heading toward 12 pre-selected systems mapped by joint exploration teams. "Any word from Admiral Takahashi?" she asked. "His ship just cleared atmosphere," Amara replied. "He's bringing something special for the departure ceremony." The ceremony gathered the leadership of both species in Unity's central chamber. The vast space, designed with both human and Xorelian aesthetics, represented the new hybrid culture that had emerged. Gleaming crystalline structures intersected with warm wooden elements, creating an environment comfortable for both species. Admiral Takahashi entered with a surprising companion, High Commander Drav, the former Separatist leader. After his fleet had been disabled, Drav had expected execution. Instead, he had been offered rehabilitation and eventually a role in the evacuation efforts, his tactical skills proving invaluable in coordinating the complex departure sequence. "The fleet is ready," Takahashi announced. "All systems functional, all arcs fully populated and supplied." High Minister Xolan, now elderly but still commanding respect, stepped forward. 20 years ago, we faced extinction alone. We asked for sanctuary and received something far more valuable: partnership. Elena noted how the minister's formal speech patterns had relaxed over the years, adopting human cadences just as human diplomatic language had incorporated Sorelian precision. The departure countdown began as the ceremonial group moved to the command center. Through the main view screen, they could see Earth vessels positioning themselves as escorts for the first leg of the journey. 20 years ago, Elena reflected, humans debated whether to help aliens at all. Now 5 million of us are joining them among the stars. Maya Wong, now fleet captain, entered the command center with her second-in-command, Selvik, who had survived their dangerous mission against the separatists. Their partnership had pioneered the biomechanical integration techniques now standard throughout the fleet. All ARCs report ready for synchronized departure, Maya announced. As the massive engines engage, creating a spectacular light show visible from both the Sorelian homeworld and Earth, communication channels remained open between all vessels. Poetry, music, and scientific discoveries flowed freely between the species that had once been strangers. Elena remembered the simple question she had asked years ago: what if we taught them to save themselves? The answer had become something neither species could have imagined. They had taught each other to become something greater together than either could have been alone. As the fleet accelerated toward the stars, leaving the doomed sun behind, Elena realized they weren't running from destruction. They were moving toward a future where the boundaries between human and Sorelian, teacher and student, rescuer and rescued had dissolved into something entirely new. They had become, simply, travelers, facing the universe together.